It's the beginning of the year, and there's just so much to fix. And sometimes we can get overwhelmed because there's 40 students in your class, and they're all doing things wrong, but it's not the same kind of wrong. So how do we manage that? Well, here's a tip. If you get stuck, just go head to toe and start addressing your students' setups. If our students are better set up, they're going to be able to distribute their weight better, and they're going to have better tone, and that's going to have a positive impact on your overall sound and on the sound of your orchestra. So let's start with the head and the shoulder area. So for the violins and violas, are their noses in line with their scrolls, or are the noses forward and the scrolls are out here? Are our chins supporting the instruments? So if we can get the instruments aligned and we can get the students to turn and get their noses in line with their scrolls and start supporting the instruments with their chin, we're going to start sounding better almost immediately. For the end pin instruments, what is the relation to the head with the neck of the instruments? Are we in front of the neck? Are we behind the neck? Or are we in that Goldilocks zone where everything's just right? Again, if we're too far in front or too far back, our weight isn't going to be distributed very well with the bow. And so what we want to do is make sure that the head is in a good position in relation to the neck of the cello or bass. So that's the head. Let's go down a little bit further to the shoulders. Are the shoulders in line with the hips, or are the shoulders twisting against the bodies? You know, sometimes we see cello players playing like this, or bass players out of alignment, even violins and violas. Sometimes when we get on the A string or E strings respectively, they tend to move their upper bodies around, and then we're not able to put the weight down on the string like we should. As we go down a little bit further for the cellos, are the cellos hitting them in the sternum area or somewhere else, you know? Or are they not making contact with the body at all? You know, we want to make sure that no matter what instrument they play, the instrument is integrated into the body, and that way it feels like it's a part of us. So then we move to the arms. And with the arms, we can just start doing some elbow swings. This is a Suzuki exercise that I've stolen. And for the shoulder instruments, we can just kind of swing our elbows this way. And for the upper instruments, we can just kind of swing this way and just get everything loosened up. You know, do we have Tyrannosaurus Rex arms when we're playing and the low strings, our elbows down here? Or do we have room to bow on all four of our strings? Sometimes when we do these exercises, we find out that our seating is too cramped. You know, can we access all the strings without hitting the person next to us or without getting hit? Next, let's take a look at the back. Are our spines in alignment? You know, we don't want our spines to be straight, of course, because your spine is supposed to be curved, but are we slumped over? Are we leaning back in the chairs? Can we draw a straight line from the top of our head to the floor and have everything in alignment? For shoulder instruments, we can have them stand up and sit back down and stand up and sit back down, and the posture for the upper body should remain the same. So let's go a little further down the body and start thinking about our seats. Where are we sitting in the chair? Are we in the back of the chair? Are we in the upper half? Are we on the side of the chair? Where do we need to be to make the best sound so that the weight's going into the instrument and not into the back of the chair rest or someplace else? You know, for violins and violas, do we need to turn a little bit in our chairs? Do we need to turn the whole chair? You know, where are our seats? Then let's go down a little bit further to the feet. Is the left foot forward, pointed at the stand, right leg back at a 45-degree angle for violins and violas? Cellos, can we hold our instruments without the end pin? Is the cello integrated to our body? With basses, there's a lot of variation here. You know, and current year setups with basses are a lot lower. We have adjustable stools, left leg on the stool, right leg on a yoga block type of thing. There are higher positions where we're up on a higher stool, and there's a standing position. But wherever the position is, make sure that the feet are set logically for that player. Particularly with the standing position, this can be a problem. If we're not close enough to the bass and the bass is leaning too much into us so that the bass is at an angle, that's going to change the angle of the bow, and that's not going to give us our best sound. So watch the feet of your bass players. If you're on a stool, it helps. If you're on a stool and a yoga block, there's really a difficult chance in making sure your feet aren't in the right place because you've got places to put the feet. But standing especially, just make sure we're close enough to the bass. Try to get the bass at a good angle so that we can bow at a straight angle. All right, so we just did head to toe, and it's a lot, right? There's a lot of different body parts, and they're all functioning differently, and they might differ depending on what techniques that we're using, and there's just one of you and there's 40 of them, but you've also got a classroom full of students to help you out. So pick a body part and have their stand partners watch them play and make sure that body part is functioning properly. Have the students play, the other half watch, and then they can give each other feedback. And please don't try to fix everything in one day, all right? Pick a body part, have them work on it, flip it around, have the other person on the stand evaluate the other player, and don't do the whole body every single day. Just pick a body part, have some peer-to-peer coaching, and over time, the students will have better setup, and that'll lead to better sound. In this episode, we went from head to toe. Now we're going to be working on movement from the center outward. So I hope to see you in the next episode.